We were born in the 1900s, right? So we've been following Jay for a long time. So when we hear something like that, nothing he's saying is a mystery. Like, we know exactly who he's talking to and why he's talking to them. But if you haven't been following the storyline, you're like, what the hell is he talking about?
My next update, the jig is up. Got up 10, wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Look up the hole. I never looked up to them.
Drake did not just hear Jay-Z's freestyle from somewhere in the crowd. According to growing reports, he reportedly moved toward Jay-Z backstage after the performance, forcing security to intervene. While those claims remain unconfirmed, they have fueled intense discussion about what happened after the Roots picnic and whether the event marked a turning point in several ongoing conflicts. What makes the situation especially interesting is the contrast between Jay-Z's recent public comments and what unfolded on stage.
Like, you know, when he has these special concerts, whether it's the B-side or something, he always gonna give you a freestyle to let you know exactly what he's been thinking.
Yeah, so cut the beat.
Back in March, Jay-Z sat down with GQ and questioned whether rap battles still served a positive purpose. He argued that feuds often create unnecessary negativity and can eventually involve family members, a line he believed should never be crossed. Looking back, many critics now question whether those comments reflected his true feelings or whether tensions were already building behind the scenes. At the time, several disputes involving Jay-Z were already gaining attention. Ye had previously made controversial comments about Jay-Z's family. Drake appeared to be challenging the relevance of hip-hop's older generation. Nicki Minaj publicly claimed Jay-Z owed her money and criticized him repeatedly. Damon Dash continued accusing him of blocking business opportunities and acting ruthlessly in business dealings. Despite all of that, Jay-Z presented himself as someone above the drama. The debate today is not simply whether he was being hypocritical, it is whether the freestyle revealed frustrations he'd been holding back for years. The timing matters. Jay-Z's GQ interview was published on March 24th. During the conversation, he defended Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance, insisting the decision was based on Kendrick's success rather than any desire to take sides against Drake. He emphasized that he had no interest in involving himself in their feud.
Like you said, the stats show Kendrick broke the audience record.
Yep.
It's not rocket science. It's like this is the music of our time, and it should be represented on the biggest stage.
Not everyone accepted that explanation. Some people around Drake reportedly saw it differently, believing influential industry figures had already chosen a side. Whether that perception was accurate or not, it widened the divide between the two camps. Meanwhile, Drake increasingly embraced themes of independence and frustration with industry veterans. His message suggested he owed his success to no one and had little interest in guidance from the generation that came before him.
The conversations me and Jay have, he's so intrigued by where my life is at because it's almost like he's seeing it happen again for somebody else. So he was like, I'm just gonna tell you all I've learned, and it was like
That tension escalated with the release of Iceman. On Janice STFU, Drake suggested the old guard had benefited enough and that their era was fading. On Whisper My Name, he famously claimed he would take $500,000 over dinner with Jay-Z and insisted there was nothing he could learn from industry veterans. Those lyrics immediately became a major talking point. For many listeners, Drake was making a clear statement. He no longer needed validation from figures like Jay-Z. At the same time, unresolved controversies involving Ye, Nicki Minaj, and Damon Dash continued to surround Jay-Z. His image as a calm, detached veteran was increasingly being tested. By the time the Roots picnic arrived on May 30th, many fans sensed the tension had been building for months. When Jay-Z stepped onto the Belmont Plateau stage before roughly 40,000 people, it felt like more than a surprise appearance. There was a sense that something significant might happen. He began with Hovey Baby before moving into an a cappella freestyle that immediately captured attention. The performance felt less like the polished, executive image often associated with Jay-Z, and more like the competitive rapper who built his reputation through lyrical battles. Then came the lines that ignited social media. Jay-Z appeared to flip Drake's own language back at him. The jig is up, I'm up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again.
My next update, the jig is up. I got up 10. Wrong chart, champ. You gotta look up again. Look up the hole. I never looked up to them.
The crowd reacted instantly. From there, Jay-Z shifted the conversation beyond music. He appeared to question Drake's business position, emphasizing ownership, publishing rights, and long-term control over creative work. His most discussed line suggested that Drake was a worker, not a boss. Many listeners saw that as more than a musical insult. It was a challenge aimed at status, influence, and ownership within the industry. Drake was not the only apparent target. Jay-Z also referenced Ye's comments about his family, making it clear that his children should remain off-limits. He appeared to criticize online behavior while suggesting that real-life interactions often look very different. He then moved on to references many listeners believe targeted Nicki Minaj. Those lyrics became controversial because they appeared to focus on personal issues rather than the financial accusations she had publicly raised against him. Damon Dash was also addressed. Jay-Z took shots at his former business partner, referencing long-running tensions that have existed for years. He further expanded the freestyle with apparent references to Jaguar Wright, Tory Lanez, and broader conversations surrounding Roc Nation. At that point, the performance no longer resembled a response to a single rival. Instead, Jay-Z appeared to be addressing nearly everyone who had publicly criticized him. During one uninterrupted performance, he seemingly responded to Drake, Ye, Nicki Minaj, Damon Dash, Jaguar Wright, and Tory Lanez. Some fans viewed it as a display of total confidence. Others saw it as evidence that years of frustration had finally boiled over.
I mean, it looks more like power.
It's this spell, right?
Right.
That Jay got. That's why I kind of look at Kanye and Damon on them. They the old me.
Right.
They the YouTube me.
Yeah. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That this Dame looked like the old YouTube me to me because he hurt, bro.
One detail that stood out was the inclusion of songs from Watch the Throne, including No Church in the Wild and Gotta Have It. Those tracks reminded audiences of Jay-Z's long and complicated history with Ye. For some observers, that contrast suggested the situation was more complex than simple hostility. Relationships in hip-hop often contain elements of respect, disappointment, loyalty, and rivalry all at once. Another major talking point involved Jay-Z's claim that the performance had not been rehearsed with the Roots. While that likely referred to the band's preparation rather than the writing itself, many listeners found it difficult to believe the freestyle was entirely spontaneous. The lyrics contained detailed references to multiple rivals, business disputes, contracts, and controversies stretching back years. Whether people loved the performance or hated it, most agreed it sounded carefully crafted. The freestyle was never likely to remain confined to one stage or one night. Its detailed references and personal attacks immediately spread across social media and throughout the music industry. Because the lyrics touched on business, reputation, ownership, and long-running disputes, many people expected a response sooner or later. That expectation is one reason reports of a possible backstage confrontation gained so much attention. According to developing claims, tensions allegedly rose behind the scenes after the performance, forcing security personnel to intervene. At this stage, those reports remain unconfirmed and should be treated cautiously. Still, the rumors have continued to spread because they seem consistent with the atmosphere surrounding the event. Many observers point out that conflicts become far more intense when they move beyond music and into questions of power, ownership, and status. Debating those issues in front of tens of thousands of people can create emotions that extend well beyond the stage. Another major topic involves reports of threats directed at Jay-Z following the performance. Public figures often face increased security concerns whenever controversy explodes online, particularly when emotions are running high. While details remain unclear, the discussion surrounding safety has become almost as large as the freestyle itself. That distinction matters because security concerns are very different from a traditional rap feud. Diss tracks can be answered with music. Questions involving safety create a completely different challenge. As a result, every upcoming public appearance connected to the situation has begun attracting increased attention. What started as a headline-grabbing freestyle has evolved into a much larger story involving reputation, influence, and public perception. Perhaps the most interesting aspect is what has not happened. Despite the massive attention generated by the performance, there has been no clear public resolution. Jay-Z has not directly addressed the rumors. Jay-Z's camp has not issued a detailed statement rejecting them. The silence has fueled even more speculation. Even without the rumors, there are enough confirmed developments to keep the story alive. Reports indicate that security concerns surrounding Jay-Z increased after the controversy. While public figures rarely reveal specific details about security measures, discussions surrounding safety have become a major part of the conversation. That shift changes the nature of the story. Music rivalries are usually settled through songs, interviews, or public statements. Security concerns introduce a level of unpredictability that is far more difficult to manage. Attention has also turned toward upcoming stadium performances. Large events already require extensive planning and crowd management. When controversy surrounds a performer, every aspect of those preparations receives additional scrutiny. For many observers, the situation carries extra weight because of the image Jay-Z has spent years building. Throughout his career, Jay-Z's public narrative has focused on transformation, growth, and long-term success. His story has often been presented as a journey from struggle to influence, from survival to leadership. That is why current headlines feel significant to many people. The discussion is no longer limited to music. It now touches on reputation, legacy, and whether someone can truly leave certain chapters of life behind.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for.
Those themes were central to Jay-Z's GQ interview and have also played a major role in Roc Nation's public identity. The company has built its brand around professionalism, influence, and business success. Yet, controversy can quickly shift public attention away from those achievements and toward questions about conflict and risk. Whether justified or not, the fact that those conversations are taking place has already changed the narrative. The discussion extends beyond Jay-Z himself. Roc Nation maintains relationships with major organizations and has played an important role in high-profile events, such as the Super Bowl halftime show. Partnerships at that level often depend on trust, consistency, and reputation. Because of that, some industry observers are paying close attention to how the situation develops. Large organizations routinely evaluate risk and public perception when making business decisions. Those conversations rarely happen publicly, but they can still influence future opportunities. What makes this especially interesting is that questions about Jay-Z's leadership style and business practices are not new. For years, critics have challenged aspects of his business record, while supporters have defended his accomplishments. Damon Dash, in particular, has repeatedly raised concerns about past dealings and opportunities he believes affected him financially. Among the most persistent disputes are claims involving Rocawear and a reported Tommy Hilfiger deal. Dash has argued for years that Jay-Z distanced himself from Rocawear at a critical moment, costing him a major opportunity. Those allegations have remained part of their ongoing conflict for decades. When listeners reviewed the freestyle, many noticed that Jay-Z appeared to address Dash personally, rather than responding directly to the larger business accusations. Critics argued that the performance avoided the deeper issues while focusing instead on personal insults. Supporters countered that Jay-Z was under no obligation to publicly answer every accusation. The same argument emerged regarding Nicki Minaj. In recent months, Nicki had repeatedly claimed that Jay-Z and Roc Nation treated her unfairly in business matters. Yet many listeners felt the freestyle focused more on personal criticism than on addressing the substance of those allegations. Supporters viewed the performance as a response to months of attacks. Critics believed serious accusations remained unanswered. That disagreement continues to fuel debate. One of the most unusual aspects of the story is the response, or lack of one. In an era when public feuds often produce immediate reactions, the silence has been striking. None of the major figures believed to have been referenced in the freestyle have issued a direct response, specifically addressing the lyrics. Drake has remained quiet. Ye has remained quiet. Nicki Minaj has not released a direct lyrical response. Damon Dash has also avoided the immediate reaction many expected. That silence has become a story of its own. Some observers believe strategic considerations may be involved. Others think the targets simply see no benefit in giving the performance additional attention. Without public statements, every explanation remains speculation. For Drake, some commentators suggest silence may be a calculated choice. If legal, business, or personal matters are involved behind the scenes, avoiding public comment could be the safest option. However, there is no confirmed evidence explaining his position. Ye remains unpredictable, making it impossible to know whether he will eventually respond or ignore the situation entirely. For Nicki Minaj, responding could bring renewed attention to issues she may prefer not to revisit publicly. Damon Dash's silence is perhaps the most surprising, given his long history of speaking openly about Jay-Z. Whatever the reasons, the lack of responses has kept the tension alive. Every day without a clear reaction creates more speculation and keeps attention focused on what might happen next. As the silence continued, attention shifted toward the upcoming Yankee Stadium concerts in July. For many observers, those shows feel like the moment where months of tension could finally reach a turning point. 3 massive concerts, tens of thousands of fans each night, cameras everywhere. Every lyric, guest appearance, and onstage decision will likely be analyzed in real time. Because of that, expectations are extremely high. Some fans believe Jay-Z could make another major statement. Others expect surprise appearances, unexpected alliances, or developments that completely reshape the conversation. There is also growing curiosity about whether any of the controversies surrounding him will be addressed directly. At this point, much of the music industry appears to be waiting for the next chapter. What makes the situation so compelling is that it ultimately comes back to one central question. Which version of Jay-Z are people seeing? Is it the veteran who publicly questioned the value of rap feuds and argued that families should remain off-limits? Or is it the fiercely competitive artist who stepped onto a major stage and delivered one of the most aggressive performances of his recent career? That contradiction sits at the center of nearly every discussion surrounding the controversy. The music world is waiting to see whether the next chapter arrives through a statement, a song, a concert appearance, or continued silence. Until that happens, the debate surrounding Jay-Z's performance and everything that followed it will continue. What do you think happens when Jay-Z takes the stage at Yankee Stadium? Do you believe there is more happening behind the scenes, or is this simply another chapter in the long history of rap rivalries? Let us know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others following the story. Turn on notifications so you do not miss future updates. Thanks for watching.